When NASA's new mega rocket with the Orion spacecraft on top rolled out to the launch pad at the Kennedy Space Center for a month of testing, it marked a major milestone. The next step, an uncrewed test flight to the moon.
Just satisfaction that we got here. And we're sending a spacecraft out to the moon. We hadn't done that since 1972.
If all goes well, the first astronauts will take a trip around the moon in the Orion spacecraft around 2024, and the first man and woman would set foot on the surface in 2026.
Not only will SLS get astronauts on their way back to the moon, the rocket is the vehicle that will take the first humans to Mars. To make that possible, each new vehicle has to be modified to make it more powerful.
The launch vehicle and spacecraft were built as an exploration system to bring not only crews but huge payloads to the moon and eventually Mars in hopes of establishing a permanent human presence. But the Mammoth launch system also comes with a mammoth price tag. Federal auditors say each launch will cost $4 billion, adding that's unsustainable. NASA and its contractors believe with development costs behind them, they can reduce the dollars needed to launch the rocket and Orion on future missions.
Building and testing this complex a system just takes a long time. Now we're working on making that shorter. And every one we build, we expect it to be shorter and less expensive.
NASA believes its new rocket will be the workhorse for at least the next 30 years, instrumental in building bases on both the moon and Mars, and that it's worth every penny.
All the capabilities we've created as a country and as an international community by being able to do this, right? That skill set wouldn't be there if we didn't do this. I would say we can not afford not to do this, right? You want to have this capability. You want to be the one leading the pioneering as we go into deep space.
What I say is going back to the moon is an awesome, I'll say responsibility for us, but also for the countries, for the world, to do that again and stay there and, make a presence there. Every bit of it's worth it.
But there is an elephant in the room. SpaceX and its Starship. It's being developed to go to the moon and Mars as well. Unlike the NASA rocket, where only the boosters and Orion spacecraft are reusable, all of Starship can fly repeatedly. Company founder Elon Musk says that means Starship could fly for less than 10 million a mission. That's likely overselling it, but if even close, that's a fraction of the cost of NASA's SLS launch. Frank DeBello heads Space Florida, the state's aerospace economic development agency. Starship, he says, is a game changer.
Starship will launch more frequently than SLS. There's no question. The cost of production of the vehicle will be much less, and I think there'll be increasing demand for the kind of payload that has to get to low Earth orbit and destinations beyond, and Starship is going to be able to do that economically.
Starship has yet to make an orbital test flight. That, SpaceX says, could come before the end of the year. Musk says the soonest humans might land on Mars in his Starship is 2029. Before moving the date up by a few years, NASA forecast 2029 for its astronauts to land on the moon. That still might end up being the case and is probably the most realistic date of them all. For MyRadar, I'm John Zarrella.
Follow MyRadar on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Download MyRadar on iOS, Android, Amazon Alexa, Xbox, and Windows.